happening? Down to 10. A little background music as we get started. We got Paul in the house, got Robbie in the house. Hello, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I'm wearing what may be my very last piece of Jets apparel. We're going to wear it today as we get demolished by the Bills in a game that means nothing to us, but is all too common within the life of a Jets fan. Our postseason has not been here since 2010. What are we doing? Why are we a fan of this team? Why does this happen? My God. It's okay. Teach us some loyalty. It's a tough one. All right, guys, listen up. This is what I want to make sure that I let you. Good morning. Ryan was a man who lived. He lived fully in every moment, dedicating his life to empowering others, whether through his role as a father, a coach, or a friend. He inspired confidence and connection, always striving to help those around him build healthier, stronger, and more meaningful lives. Ryan's legacy, it lives on in the lives he touched, the love he gave his daughters, and the community he built with passion and purpose. That's what ChatGPT believes my eulogy is going to be.
Just about to ask if you had your kids write your obituary for you.
Yeah.
This might be another. It might be actually no, that's dark. Don't do that. But that's a nice.
I don't think it's bad.
That's a cool AI experiment.
Well, first of all, I'm going to say this to get personal on this side of things. We have an aunt, Jason and I do, who lives in Colorado. I've not been talking to enough, number one. Number two, she brought up the idea of death very early on in our life. Do you agree with that?
I don't remember it super early, but it is a common discussion topic.
Yeah. It's definitely common. I think when we talk with her, because there's something that that's her feeling. That's a topic that she feels good, I think, sharing and talking about, and I would say being prepared for. I appreciate it. And I also appreciate talking about death at an early age. Although it
almost seems like something, I don't know if like it's European or something. It just like, it seems like maybe a different cultural thing instead of avoiding it. That's just kind of what it feels like to me.
Yeah. Well, something that I really appreciate, and I do feel that I think in this country, we don't accept death as a part of life. It feels like, and I'm not saying I'm perfect with this, but I've talked about this before as well, is that I've brought in the celebration, and we kind of build on it every single year now, and it's been really special. But we have been celebrating, or at least giving space for Day of the Dead, which is just after Halloween. And
that's what I was thinking of more. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. I think it is very cultural, but I think it also is somewhat based or steeped within religion, right? Depending on how we think about death, what happens to us, our souls, our bodies, and all those other great things around it. But it's death. Death is going to happen, right? It has to happen. And so I think that what I do like, and Dom said this before, is that, this is something Ryan Holiday always talks about during this time of the year, but kind of hanging death over our head is it's not a reminder of something so bad. It's just a reminder of something that is and will happen. And I think that certain things just like this and talking about death, I think is definitely good. So I read my eulogy because it is something here where well, at least what ChatGPT thought. I don't agree with it. Well, not that I disagree with it. I just think that there could be a lot more to it. Like, Ryan has lived a life never 100% happy. He's always searching and will continue to do so in the afterlife.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. As you were reading it, I didn't think it was untrue, nor did I think that ChatGPT wrote it.
Well, ChatGPT did write it because I wasn't going to write my own eulogy this morning. But
here's a quick experiment.
Yeah.
I told you a few months ago that I asked ChatGPT to roast me based on our previous conversations, which hit a little bit too close to home in a funny way. I would say, I don't know, see what happens if you ask for a eulogy based on just whatever you ask it about yourself, tell it to do it based on your past conversations. It seems to be a little bit more on the mark. It's weird and can be funny and kind of uncomfortable. Just a cool experiment.
Well, there was that recent trend, which was a plug into ChatGPT your ideal life and like lifestyle, whatever it was something about that. And I don't even know the prompts that you gave it, but I'm so heavy into learning more about the prompts that you can give ChatGPT. And really, because I don't want to be this dinosaur in my space within nutrition and counseling and all that kind of stuff too. I think that if we aren't using ChatGPT for some of these things, at least within my space and how we can really help ourselves out, we're going to be behind. And so these prompts I think are great. I think I'm saying this because I'm afraid to put something like that in here. I don't want to yet. But I wanted to, for all my VFriends people. Oh wait, I don't know what that was. Oh wait, hold on. This is kind of fun. All right, we'll come back to this just in a second. Oh, wow, this is a great one. This is a great one. I asked it to, so I do have a ChatGPT thread identity as the knowing gnome. Shout out VFriends. And I wanted to see what it would write about me here, but somehow it brought in some daily dad stuff, which is definitely good. I am in the right thread. I am. Ryan Turner, a man of unwavering dedication, was a visionary who empowered others to embrace strength, confidence. Like, what? It's writing the same thing now. This is ridiculous. Whether building transformative nutrition programs, hosting inspiring podcasts, like.
Not soon her blanket.
Okay. Do you want to get another blanket?
I don't want the another one. It's getting too cold.
You're cold. Okay. We'll get you a blanket. You don't have to be cold. Jason, let us know about your eulogy. I'm going to go help out really quick. Okay.
So mine is called A Tribute to a Passionate Soul. So I use ChatGPT a lot for the busy work that goes into teaching. I have done it for like lesson plans and stuff with a little bit that hit, but I never used like a straight lesson that ChatGPT gave me. It hits on some things and hits on doesn't hit on others. And if you've used it before for any of those things, your experience is probably the same. So mine is mostly based on teaching and art and stuff like that. So it gave me 5 paragraphs. I will give a little blurb in headline form, and I'm going to ask it to give me a brief synopsis based on headlines found on fake newspapers. So let's see what that looks like. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do give me a headline as a brief synopsis of my eulogy in the style of a tabloid magazine.
What are we doing here? What's happening?
So it gave me a 5-paragraph eulogy. Wasn't going to read the entire thing, but then I asked it to give me a synopsis of it in the style of a tabloid magazine. And it said, beloved art teacher, super mom, and creative visionary leaves a legacy of love and color. I'm a super mom. Apparently, ChatGPT thinks that teaching is not a male profession.
Ooh, ouch.
But however, it also is good because it has not pegged me. I have not given it enough information for it to know if I'm a man or a woman.
Well, don't enter anything about pegging. It's funny
What do you
enough.
think the cause of death was, Ryan?
I think I feel like the idea, knowing you when you were younger, I remember I have this vivid memory of you running towards an active tornado, which was like completely, it was so rare in our area of New Jersey when we were growing up, but you were running towards it. I remember like Dad did nothing about it. He's like, oh, no, maybe he'll come back. And so I feel like it would be something like that.
It was a water spout. It was not a tornado.
That's exactly why you'd die, because you just made a difference. There's no difference. You would have died.
At that point, my experience with water spouts over lakes was that it took me to a secret level.
Wait, you were like 12. You were like 12. How did you have experience with other water spouts?
You play a flute in Zelda.
Oh, yeah.
Adventures of Link, and you go to a secret level and you get the Master Sword.
Oh, all right. Well, maybe you would die. I don't know if it'd be from a water spout or what, but you're an active outdoorsy guy. I feel like it'd be a bear falling off a cliff, something like that, right?
I've thought of those things before. That definitely goes in line with the topics of this month's reading, and I found today's kind of heartwarming as using the Cold War as a backdrop for a healthy father-daughter relationship.
Yeah, my goodness. Well, I like the idea here about the thought of living eulogies. We should do this more often, but more importantly, I think what was being said by we had some thoughts here from William Strafford, and he was talking about himself hearing his kids, or the laughter of his kids, basically, and how they themselves were like living eulogies. How if there is family conversation and there is laughter within the family, that specifically being a powerful reminder about needing to, or just being in the moment and cherishing those small moments, those quiet moments, while they're still around. Because let's say if there was a family that was absent of those things, no family conversation, no laughter, no smiles, no togetherness, that itself, I think, could be someone's eulogy, right? You lived a life, family wasn't really connected. Who knows what's really going on? But it's like, we don't have to ask our kids what our eulogy would be, what they would throw in there. One, because they don't want to get roasted by it. Kids are so honest. But then again, I think it's the other thing of we can probably look around and see what they might already say, right? What have I developed in them? What have I developed in this family? You know, is there some kind of like magic here? Are there memories that they're going to carry on? Because most likely that's what they're going to go back to. And so, you know, I think it would be so, not shallow, not surface level, but I think it would be so simple to ask them to write a eulogy. It's, I think, more important, and I think it's more responsible for us to look around and understand what is it that I'm seeing in front of me that I created that they would probably fall back on. What are the thoughts, the memories, the stories they'd share about me? Does that make sense? I think so.
Yeah, I was thinking, because I was having like similar thoughts about the reading. I did it last night before I went to bed. And part of that was like perhaps a good conversation at some point with your kids or whoever you're with, whether you have kids or not, is what do you think up to this point will they remember about you? Like maybe, maybe start with good and start with like the challenging things. But I think that's a good way of maybe, I don't know, highlighting our, temporary being with our kids and kind of introducing the fact that someday we're not going to be around. That kind of all goes along with this month's theme.
Yeah. I would think that my oldest daughter would focus some on the more challenging thoughts, and my youngest daughter would think on the fun thoughts. That's just how I see them both being there.
Yeah.
But regardless, I think we can be grateful for something right now. And I'm always trying to tie my gratitude back into what we just read. And so I am going to be grateful for the things that I've heard my girls say is that dad is fun. Dad at most times is the more fun parent. Even when Lauren does a lot of the planning to do stuff. But, dad is silly. Dad's active. Dad's healthy. I think all those things are definitely good. But I think overall, I think it's just grateful for some things that came from the reading, just like knowing that there will be laughter within the family, right? That there is some of that connection there. And that when we sit together, that I'm probably going to find some of these great things that they would say during my eulogy. But anyway, anyone on the couch, I'd be so curious. What is one small thing that you think your family would say about you? One. And then two, what's one small way that you think you can create, maybe even cherish some of the moments with your family before the end of the year, right? So if there's one thing you think that they would say about you, there's one thing I know that my family would say about me, and I hope they would, is that I'm an emotional person, for good or bad. But dad showed up with all of his emotions. And then I would also want to make sure that I probably take advantage of this moment and, I think take accountability for my emotions. That can definitely be up and down. But I want to make sure that my family knows, hey, dad knew he was emotional. He knew where to place it at appropriate times. And I hope it's something that they can kind of bring into their own lives. But it's a legacy, right? Some sort of togetherness here. It could be good. Jason, what about you? If things were summed up, though, in like at least one or two words, what would it be? What are you going to do before the end of the year here? So how many days we got left? What we got? 3 days left? 3 days?
No, we got 2
Sunday,
days.
Monday, Tuesday.
2
Sunday,
days
Monday,
left.
Tuesday. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. 3 days. You have today, Monday, and Tuesday to do something before 2025.
Yeah, I got some things. Also some things that I'd love to start the new year on. Like I'd love to climb up, do a hike up Bear Peak above Boulder
In 3 days?
in one of the days that
Nice.
I will be on break still in the next week and hopefully not
Love
getting
this.
sick. Thus far, I'm still the only non-sick survivor in my house.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm hoping that it like doesn't hit me like the Friday before the last weekend before school starts. But I guess if I were to sum up, what I would want my kids and family to say is, I think to sum it up is he was just there. He was always there. And we did really cool stuff, even in the times when we weren't doing a whole lot. Like this past week for me has been a real focus on garbage time, just being at the house, everybody's sick, and finding the enjoyment in taking care of everybody, whether it's, just picking up the things, washing all the blankets that have been coughed on, bringing food and drink to people. It's like, I would say like an earlier version of me would just get really ornery about that loss of my regimen. And like yesterday, I was able to get a little bit that back. But I would say he was always there. Doesn't matter if it was fun or if it was a downtime. He was just there, and he was engaged and active.
Well, you are a good listener. I would definitely want that to be something someone would say about you. I think that you're a good listener, and I think that you never feel as if Jason's there rushing. I think that you're always open to how much time and space somebody needs, which I think is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So,
Paul just brought up like things about his entrepreneurial self and trying new things. That's awesome. And yeah, it'd be great to be acknowledged, for like being creative or, working in art or something, or, always being able to kind of make a vision happen out of those. But it's really more about how you affect the people and how you make them feel.
Mm-hmm.
That I think is the most important. As a counterpoint, if you haven't seen the movie It Ends With Us, Kristen, I watched it with Kristen. There's a point where the main character, her dad dies, and she's asked to give a eulogy. And she has, I think like the list is like top 5 things I love about my dad. And she gets up there to the lectern, and they look at they pan on the list, and it has 1 through 5 and nothing written by it. Don't want that to be me. Right.
I guess it would be sad. I know that some people measure their death by the amount of people that show up to their funeral. I don't know if I want that. I don't know if I want that thought.
As a counterpoint to my counterpoint.
Yeah.
Big Fish, the movie Big Fish, where the dad, spends his entire life telling stories to his kid about his very normal things and just turns them into a story.
Mm-hmm.
And then the son sees all those people, but the real life version of them show up to the funeral.
I don't know. Can you tell us what Big Fish is?
No, I think you would really enjoy it. You should watch it. It's a very very good movie.
And the premise?
It's based on the father-son relationship.
Got it.
And how the father tells, he always tells stories, like these really far-fetched tales. So the whole movie is about.
Oh wait, who is the father? Who's that narrator?
I don't know, but the narrator and the main character is that English guy that totally blanking on his name. You should watch it. You would like it. Put it on your list.
Got it. I was also thinking about how I am going to, I think, generate these moments. I don't want to try too hard. I think that's my biggest thing. I don't want to try too hard to really make some of these moments happen. Obviously, we want these things just to kind of be very organic. But as I usually do, I like to kind of bucket ideas and some kind of solutions here. Hear my kids fight. And I was thinking about 3 ways that the connection can actually happen here. So if there is some way that I can kind of garner some connection with the time we have off, whether it's garbage time, I think I know that I need to find a different way to get something together that I know we've been doing so well, which was kind of game time. We used to do it at like 7 p.m., like dinner time, 7 p.m., baths before that, and then kind of like wind down for the day. It's not been working as well because our kids have been kind of playing with the other kids in the building kind of from like 7 p.m. on, but I don't want to change that about them, but we have to figure something else out. There's something that I'm not doing right, but getting back to those game times, because it was really fun. I think the other thing is, I know that I've been really focused on a few goals right now, one particularly getting monetized on X. So I've been on my phone a lot more, but I think that there needs to be at least some boundary around those phones, around the kids, because I do know that they have been talking about, hey, they've been asking, hey, we're watching a movie, can you put your phone down? Or, hey, Dad, I want to read you a story. My 3-year-old can't even read, but she wants to read me a story every night. Awesome. Dad, we're going to make sure we don't have phones out. Normally won't, but they've been saying it. So it gives me the idea that maybe they are seeing the phone out too much. And the one thing I do want to keep doing, because I love this is one thing I like, is keeping myself asking open-ended questions just to kind of spark some of those deeper conversations, but knowing full well that my youngest will be good with those right now. My oldest, I think, kind of shuts down if it becomes too open-ended. So I have to ask the right questions right there. So
Yeah,
that's what I'm going to do before 2025.
Yeah, good point in conversations. I had a good day yesterday with my oldest. Bordering on garbage time, just kind of like she is mostly better. So part of our day yesterday was me just keeping her entertained and like hanging out after like her not being able to do anything. We talked a little bit about we had a good adult adolescent conversations on phones and like, you know, what that entails. And I was very open about the reason why I don't want her to have a phone right now is because I feel slightly overprotective. So instead of like coming off as an overprotective or overbearing parent, like actually saying, hey, this is like, my exact words were like this is why I'm overprotective about it, is because of like information and like how drama can start with all that stuff. It's because I see it every day in school, teaching kids her age. It sucks. It's a sucky thing to have them grow up with. And it's just like another parenting journey, is having to deal with technology responsibly instead of just shoveling it on top of them.
Definitely one of my biggest worries right now is kind of that. And I know how I'm thinking about it. What is it? What would finally make it okay for your oldest right now she's 11?
Yeah, 11.
Yes, 11. I'm her godfather. I know. I just want to double check. But what is it, if there was like a sentence here or like one bullet point that you, and I know there obviously should be more, can be more. What would make you feel that you both were ready for her to have a phone?
It's for me, it's more like being able to discern between consequences of real life versus consequences of a digital presence.
Consequences of real life versus consequences of a digital. So what you're talking about is like, say, somebody that may not show up in life the same way that they do on the internet. So it's like someone being a troll on the internet,
For
and then
example,
knowing that. Make a fast example.
What? Say it again.
Make it a fast example.
I would say, oh yeah, dang, we're already out of time. Very quick way to say it is, don't say anything to somebody online that you wouldn't say in person. That's a good way to sum it up, because that's where most of the things that affect kids hit, is those interactions where they feel like they can say things through a phone or online or social media that they wouldn't say in person. That's like the number one point, I'd say.
I think it's a good one. It's definitely one that I probably wasn't thinking about, but I would like to figure out what that would actually look like in my girls, to understand that. The other point for me is this: when I know that my kids can take criticism appropriately, where it does not affect their identity right away, and that they're actually able to now have it a very objective and well-rounded conversation about those things, I think it's going to be important.
So they can discern, right? They can discern through, like, discern those things.
I mean, it comes down to confidence and identity for me. It's that whatever you're confident about and whatever you believe your identity or want your identity to be, why would someone else get to decide that for you in one comment on the internet, wherever it's going to be? And so I need them to understand that, you know, there is a powerful tool out there And I don't think that we should be protecting them 100%, but it will come down. I think that whether it's nutrition, whether it's spending money, whether it's a relationship of any kind, I think that technology needs to be individualized as we progress our kids through it. Hiding them from it, I don't think is right. Delaying the understanding of what it is and how much it can actually do for them, I think is not right either. So I want to make sure I'm keeping that in mind. I don't want to be scared of it. That's my biggest thing. I don't want to walk around thinking I'm scared of the internet for my kids, because I think that's only either going to delay them or it's us living in fear. And I do not want to live in fear. I want to live in the ability to take these tools and use it for good.
We don't want to be the overbearing dad from Footloose with our technology.
Completely. Yes. That was the first analogy I was going to bring up. So I'm glad you beat me to it. All right. I'm going to go cook some croissants. I made croissants. I did. It was the one thing I said I probably never make, and I made it because I'm opening up a bakery in the spring. So I need to make sure I'm getting ready for it.
First in line in that thing.
I hope so. It's called the Knowing Gnome Bakery, opening 2025, spring 2025. Anyway. All right, guys, do me a favor. Please, everybody, if you can, I want you to try to find a time, but take a moment to be present today with your family, with the kids. Think about creating or cherishing at least one memory, whether it's a conversation or joke or laugh or something, but make the moment simple and look into that simple moment to define your own eulogy for yourself, what it's going to be. I'd love that. And just as Jason's background says here, we hope that your hearts are full of coffee and your cups full of gratitude. They're all there.
Shirts.
Anyway, guys, thanks for checking in.
January 1st.
Well, you make them, so you can make them at cost. I'm not going to order them.
I will send you one for free, minus the shipping.
I want this to happen. I want you to make these shirts, and for every dad, mom, parent that comes up and comes onto the Daily Dad's hot seat, which I'd love to do like 1 or 2 times a week. It doesn't have to be a hot seat. That sounds so challenging. But have a conversation, bring up something, share something about you, a challenge, a positive takeaway, something like that. I'd love that. We can send them a numbered
coffee cups of gratitude shirt.
Out of how many weeks are there in the year? I don't even know.
52 shirts.
Thank you. Maybe 52. But we can give you a numbered shirt if that's the case. Anyway, we'll get there. All right, guys, we love you. Take care. And have a great rest of your Sunday. Bye.
Peace.